Hi, my name is Reed Johnson, President of Lake Point Advisory Group. Today on our web series, we're going to talk about long-term care. This is actually probably my least favorite topic to talk about, maybe the most emotionally charged topic we'll talk about in this series. Why is this? Because most folks don't want to consider what long-term care means. For some folks, that means nursing home, home health care, assisted living, and if you're like myself or most of my clients, it's like, oh, this isn't going to happen to me. But the fact of the matter is that approximately 70% of all people are going to need some sort of long-term care in their lifetime. Now that might sound kind of high because we haven't personally known anybody that's done that, but if you really think about your situation or people you know, a lot of that long-term care is what we call unpaid long-term care, meaning a spouse or a family member took care of someone. So I want to give you the three different type of planning solutions that you can use for long-term care. The first type, what most people think of, is what's called traditional long-term care insurance. Basically, you put together a contract with an insurance company. In the event that you need long-term care, they're going to pay out benefits. The problem with this type of long-term care planning is that the premiums have the ability to go up. Number two is, I always tell folks, trying to get the insurance company what you have to get done to get those benefits paid out can sometimes be tedious. And then the third thing is what if you don't ever use that plan? All of those payments that you paid into that actually goes to the insurance company, and you don't get any benefit for those premiums other than the coverage that you had in the event you needed it. Second type of planning is something we call self-funding. Self-funding is what your plan is if you don't have a plan. This means that in the event that you need long-term care benefits, you're going to use assets from your retirement savings to pay for those benefits. With the average time stay being 30 months and the cost being daily $150 to $170 a day, put your personal assets in that situation. If you had to pay $150 a day for the next 30 months, what kind of basically erosion could happen to your portfolio? For some, that could be catastrophic. Now remember, if you're using this asset-based type of planning, these typically have some sort of rider. You could be paying an additional fee on it, but for some people, it ends up being a better solution because they still want access and control of those funds. So the third solution is what we call asset-based planning. This is a little bit different of an option because you have multiple ways that you can plan for this. There are some people use things like life insurance who have riders on there that in the event that you need long-term care, the death benefit actually pays for long-term care. The second type of planning is sometimes people will use an annuity. An annuity gives you a growth rate that's going to happen depending on what the contract value specifies. In the event that you need long-term care, it could literally multiply that benefit up to 2 to 3 times of what the value is of that. Now, when you're considering this option, you need to understand that there are riders and fees that could occur on this, but the reason that most of the folks that we sit down with like the asset-based planning approach is because they still have access and control of those funds if they need them before they need long-term care, and or if they don't use long-term care, the remaining death benefit and or value of those funds goes to their beneficiaries. As you can see, there's 3 ways that you can plan for long-term care, but you've got to have a plan. 70% of all people approximately are going to need some sort of long-term care in their lifetime, with the cost being somewhere between $150 to $170 a day, and with people having an average stay of 30 months, think about your nest egg, and if you had to spend that kind of money. More importantly, if you left a spouse behind and they needed that money to live on the rest of their life, you've got to have some sort of plan for this. The good news is there is options, and we'd love to share what those options are for you. If you'd like information on this or any of the other topics we talk about in our web series, give us a call. We'd love to sit down with you and get you on the track to a great retirement.